everybody, a.t.l here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon WTF Moments. Today we're going to be looking at all the WTF moments for Pokemon Season 1, Episode 6, Clefairy and the Moonstone. I do want to say a quick thank you to everyone that's been supporting me on this series so far, because I love making this. This is my favorite thing that I make on YouTube every single week. I love this series so much, and I'm glad that you guys love it as well. If you are loving this series, of course, hit the like button. Let's go for 1,000 likes if we can on this one. Let's try and hit it, and also hit subscribe so you never miss an episode, because this series is going to go on like forever, basically. And don't forget, of course, you can use code ACE to save yourself some money on G Fuel. Oh, baby. This is pink lemonade. I matched today, by the way. Isn't that beautiful? Use code ACE, get money off G Fuel. It's awesome. But without further ado, let's have a look at all the WTF moments for Pokemon Season 1, Episode 6, Clefairy and the Moonstone. The recap of the previous episode says that Ash won a Boulder Badge. He didn't win it. He was handed it out of pity. That's not a win. He didn't officially win the match.
WTF moment, everyone. A gym leader that gives a protagonist a pity. It's really a minute one.
According to the narrator, many strange and astonishing tales have been told about Mount Moon, and all of them are true. That's funny, because it just so happens I heard a story about a bloke that goes up Mount Moon and necks off with the Zubat and uses Geodudes as fleshlights. He said they're all true.
What the earth you talking about, mate? The narrator that you just said, legends came true. You forget that anime is based off, right? At the region where they at. You know, Japan, which has some legends that is, you know, believable.
Gen 1 Zubat outside of a cave? What weird dimension is this?
Well, actually, Liam, later in the episode we do...
We're not at that point in the episode, are we?
Wow. Did he not realize that maybe those soup bats are replicating fruit bats? You know, the bats that stay outside of a cave and live in trees? Ugh.
Misty points out the horde of Zubat are attacking that random guy, and Ash proceeds to not help, but just try and get the extra Pokedex data. Don't worry, Ash, I'm sure that guy can take a few more bites. He'll be fine. I love this whole scene as well, because the Pokedex just kind of gradually moves into frame, like that Family Guy episode where Peter's reading a comic instead of driving. Like, same energy.
Liam make a pop culture reference that is not TF moment. Also, that guy maybe has some healing items with him, you know, to heal him.
Direct quote from Dex of the Pokedex. Zubat live in caves and hate to fly outside in the daylight. Go back inside.
Refer the previous sin.
Ash tells Pikachu to use Thundershock, and somehow Thundershock specifically hits all of the Zubat. It's time to add another episode to the Ash hacking counter.
Shadow, chill. We're not doing that. Please don't. We all know that. Fine.
The man they saved shows his appreciation by being far too familiar with strangers that he's just met. I hate people like that. Get off me.
It's appreciation. You know, they're glad that it's someone helping him. You black-hearted man.
The guy then says they say man's best friend is a Pokemon, and with you two, I believe it. Trying to compliment Ash and Pikachu on how well they work together. And Ash just deadpan goes, oh, that's nice. You could at least say thank you.
Well, as I learned from Fluttershy, who had a friend that still had a grudge on him, people who are, well, nervous type of people always have to, you know, reply with, oh, you know, the shy people. Yes, I know Ash has some hyperreactive moments, but sometimes he has some shy personality.
Ugh, poetry. Fuck off.
Hey, I like poetry, eh? I mean, seriously. Did someone say poetry? Not that type of poetry. Yeesh.
Misty says this bloke doesn't look like the poetic type, but that's where you're wrong, Misty. He looks absolutely like an incel. He looks like the kind of guy that goes to a girl's Twitch stream and then as soon as she says hi to someone else, he jumps in her DMs like,
how could you betray me? How could you do this? I thought you were different. I thought what we had was special.
He's definitely the poetic type.
Jeez, Reese, man. I mean, did the Birdman just say...
Judge a movie on what it is, not what you thought it would be.
Judge what it is, not thought what it be. Seriously.
Direct quote from Seymour the Scientist. Never call me Mister. I'm Seymour. Seymour the Scientist. Why can't they call you Mister? Are you not a dude? I guess he could be non-binary, but that sounds a little bit too progressive for Pokemon. Shout out to all my NB viewers. Mwah, you're wonderful.
Wow. Defend yourself by saying that. Really? It's alright that people have binary gender. But seriously though, I don't think Seymour want to be called Mr. all the time. He'd rather be called whatever it is. Just not Mr.
Someone strung up lights throughout the caves in Mount Moon, and Seymour seems to think it's because they're after the Moonstone. Surely it could just be some safety-conscious person that knows that 10-year-olds will be journeying through these caves.
I think Seymour is talking about people will steal the Moonstone. No 10-year-old be that tall to hang those light-ups. I know it sounds right. I mentioned in the third video, which I am still cross about. But the only time that the 10-year-old be very tall is some rare condition at birth. Like this guy right here.
Seymour believes that Pokemon came to Earth from outer space. Oh no. A Scientologist.
What's wrong with that? People have that personality ever since we theorized that space has some living things. You dick.
Seymour believes the spaceship that brought the Pokemon to the Earth was the Moonstone, but surely then it wouldn't be called the Moonstone, it'd be called the big-ass fucking Pokemon spaceship.
It's the name of the ship, you twit! I mean, seriously, when people talk about Ark, no one compare the Ark to ship unless the name comparison. Jeez.
Dexter describes Clefairy as an impish Pokemon. What if it's modest? Seymour stops Ash from catching Clefairy and says it's probably best to let it stay in Mount Moon. But couldn't you say that about every Pokemon in their natural habitat?
Yes, but the Pokemon franchise won't be a thing unless someone made it. Either that or Peter will, well...
Seymour the Scientist calls Team Rocket show-offs. This is coming from a man who breaks into poetry when he meets new people. Yeah, okay, pal.
Really? You do that to this guy now? Ugh. Of course people can do that to other people who is prideful. Seriously, if Escanor do that, then whoop-de-doo.
Ash asks Team Rocket, do you ever get bored of saying the same thing over and over? And Team Rocket respond by saying, you're just jealous that we won't let you join us. Doesn't really answer his question, does it?
Refer the previous sin.
Direct quote from Meowth. We want to get our hands on the Moonstone so that we can power up our Pokemon with it. I hate to break it to you, but neither Meowth, Ekans, nor Coughing evolved with the Moonstone, so you're wasting your time.
Well, the Pokemon, yeah. But you know what else the Pokemon that acquired to with? The Nidorino lines. For prime's sake, you not realize that they try to get the strongest Pokemon? For prime's sake.
Hang on, when did Brock catch a Zubat? I captured it just before we entered the cave, he says. Like, what? Nobody saw him catch it? Man, wouldn't that have been nice to see in a show about catching Pokemon?
Oh, what's wrong? There's something more interesting off screen than Clefairy's episode. Well, too bad. You enjoyed it. Jeez.
Zubat's Supersonic confuses both Ekans and Coughing, and they start attacking each other, even though that's not how confusion works in Pokemon. Although I do kind of wish that was how confusion worked, like it does in Final Fantasy, where if you're confused, you'll either attack your enemy, or your ally, or yourself. I like that. I like confusion to be a little bit more complex than just twatting yourself in the face.
I agree with that. Sure, not maybe Final Fantasy, but yeah, maybe that confusion would do the same thing in the game.
Right before the cut to ad break, this random scene happens for a few seconds where Clefairy just bounces out of the cave and then Misty goes, "Oh no, Clefairy's running away!" And it just seems so pointless.
Maybe Misty wants clefairy. I mean, seriously, everyone loved that Pokemon because of cuteness. I agreed. I mean, it's like a chinchilla. It's so fluffy.
Clefairy launches itself off a cliff to escape Meowth. That'll show it. Misty summons Staryu, but before Staryu comes out of the Pokeball sinks to the bottom of the stream, which means that it's still at the bottom of the stream. We never see her go back and retrieve it, so how does she get the Pokeball back? Because she gets it back because she returns Staryu to its Pokeball, so what? How does that work?
Squirtle! Squirtle's back!
Staryu's water gun fills up Meowth like a water balloon, because cartoon.
So what are we doing? Drowning.
This kind of looks like your mum on a Friday night, doesn't it?
Fuck you!
Ash asks, "What's that?" And Brock responds, "This is Pokemon food. Ash hasn't been feeding his Pokemon." Confirm.
Well, Sheriff did mention that Ash went to the camp, maybe at the somewhere 6 or 5 years, I guess. Maybe he forget what the Poke food is and, well, forgets.
Now, I was joking earlier when I said that this guy was an incel, but he's basically that kid in school that willingly eats dog biscuits because he thinks he's a wolf. He's definitely an incel.
Well, some people are weird. And some people are, well, just a little curious. I mean, seriously, we have some people testing if the dog food is alright or not.
Clefairy, out of the blue, leads the group to the core of the Moonstone for no reason at all. Great job protecting it.
It's called a trust. Liam, you forget about that? If you have someone that's trustful, you can lead someone to, well, the most precious item. Just as long that person you trust with doesn't steal that. Right, Rocket?
Ash asks Pikachu what Clefairy said to him, even though he doesn't speak Pokemon. He then has the audacity to tell Seymour, "Of course I understand, it's my Pokemon!" And then he proves he doesn't understand. The twat.
Liam TF characterized cliche.
So it turns out Clefairy prayed to the Moonstone, and Misty thinks that's probably because the Moonstone fell from the sky. That makes complete sense to me. But then Seymour takes that to mean that humans and Pokemon will ride the Moonstone into space. Mate, are you Michael Jordan at the end of Space Jam? Because that was a hell of a bloody read.
Well, some people are, well, obsessed with something crazy, such as, well, like breathing underwater with a helmet.
Seymour runs to attack Team Rocket but gets tripped by Meowth, but with the positions they're all stood in, he would have been running past them anyway, so what was his plan?
Don't know, don't care, and shut up.
Oh, that old TV trope of, "My glasses! I can't see without my glasses!" Should've just got contact.
Oh yeah, eye contact. Which is, well, much more difficult to put on your eye than put on your glasses. Like, I mean, seriously, some people have a phobia of seeing things on the screen, eh?
Snake versus Snake? Oh, it's just like Metal Gear Solid.
Liam make a pop culture reference that is not TF moment cliche. Also, that should be an Anaconda versus a rattlesnake scene. You missed that.
So during their smokescreen distraction, Team Rocket managed to steal the Moonstone and dig a massive crater in the ground without making a single sound. That's just impressive.
You have no idea.
This just seems awfully dangerous. Like, sure, it's fast downhill, but where are the brakes? How are you going to stop this? Ah, yeah, that'll do.
Liam answer himself cliche.
We have got to take a moment to appreciate Coughing absolutely wrecking Onyx with a counterattack, even though it can't learn counter, and even though every move it can learn in Generation 1 is either not very effective against Onyx, or Onyx is completely immune to it. I mean, it could learn Mimic, and Onyx had just used Dig, so it could have mimicked Dig and then used Dig on Onyx, which would be super effective. Oh my god, we figured it out. That's amazing.
Wow. Just wow.
Metromania, every Thursday on the a.t.l YouTube channel.
Yeah, on YouTube video, yeah.
So all of the Clefairy's metronomes selected Explosion. What are the odds?
Missed opportunity on these iconic line from the game.
Bean! Ka-bean! Ka-bean!
According to Ash's Pokedex, Clefable is one of the rarest Pokemon in the world. No, it's not.
Is it time to make a new cliche now?
Yup.
Liam has some information that never reveal what he's talking about cliche.
Do you know what? Listening to Clefairy and Clefable dancing around the Moonstone, saying their names over and over, all talking over one another, I can understand why my parents hated cartoons. They're fucking annoying.
Then you are the most hypocritical people of all time. Seriously, I see that all the time on YouTube that complain that some people are hypocrite on anything. Seriously, what the heck?
Out of nowhere, Seymour announces that he's going to stay here and live with the Clefairy. I guess it makes sense, because, like, no one else gives a toss about him.
You never learn about a scientist what they're doing, do you? Scientists do, research. As in, stay around and learn things? Seriously, how you not realize that? You do research online all the time too, Jeez.
Brock says he hopes that when Seymour goes to outer space, he'll remember to send them all a postcard.
Don't indulge the nutcase.
Alright, so a couple weeks ago I shot the dog that lives across the way.
Oh, look what's written on the Cerulean City sign.
Ha! Got him!
Maybe Gary Oak tell Brock about Ash is coming to the gym to challenge him. You not realize that?
So in summary, unless you're a big fan of Clefairy or Clefable, this episode is super boring, piss irritating, and entirely skippable. But hey, at least next week we get another gym episode.
Actually, you gotta complain about that as well as the last gym. Oh boy, you will.